Yes, they would sometimes inform them that it's gonna be a photo shoot in Marrakesh or someplace else, and you find yourself in the middle of a freak off. That's quite crazy. Mike Jeffries. Oh, I almost said James Jeffries. That's a comedian. Mike Jeffries, former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. Yes, what are we talking about? Let's just jump right into it, man. Fair use.
Mike Jeffries is arrested in connection to a sex trafficking case. Prosecutors have been investigating allegations that Jeffries ran a sex trafficking operation involving young men. Jeffries was arrested this morning in Florida as part of an investigation led by federal prosecutors in New York.
Yeah, man. It's real simple. He's been accused of basically running a freak off operation for, I'm not gonna say little boys, young men. How he set up this trafficking situation is crazy. According to the lawsuit, it says that they were using men that were basically trying to get on the model list of Abercrombie and Fitch, and those guys were then moved to, let's say, these freak off events. So say if you suck them off, you might get extra jobs, and then they will also tell you, okay, go to Morocco, and then there is a event there. Come to find out, it's a freak off. And they used to do that to hetero men and gay men, so it's all over the place.
The first thought that comes to mind, KaiR, is that, they say power corrupts, and I think power corrupts. Power definitely has a chance to corrupt, but power also makes you more of what you are. What you are. From what I understand, so let's say nothing insinuates that we're talking about minors. So I think that's it could have been worse.
For now,
what?
They're not saying.
Yeah, for now. We don't know,
Maybe
but
didn't
that's
start with minors either.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt on that part. But there are a lot of BD deviants. Well, BD deviants, huh?
Yeah, BD deviants. This is not a BCC.
Well, it's a D. I don't know.
BBC.
Well, it's not the second.
He's
D.
not black,
and we don't know if he's the first one either.
Well, what I do know is he's not black. That's for sure. I don't know what else he's doing besides that. But yeah, it's getting crazy. I hope, to be honest, and then I'm gonna go a bit deeper, because always in these cases, it's actually, I make a freak off universe joke, but you will be shocked, RJ, the link between certain groups in this case. So this is these are parties that were organized by the former CEO, and he was using young men, gullible men that were basically forced sometimes to perform in these parties. They were organizing all over the world. So this is the crazy part, and that's the trafficking aspect, because they were organizing these parties all throughout the world. I think New York, LA, they were flying these people out. So it's crazy, actually.
So just to be clear, he's from what country?
It's an American.
It's American, okay. So he had like a couple of, you say a flock of birds, I think, right? What do you call a group of deviants?
My God.
But
a wolf pack. Isn't that how Mel called
I wouldn't know. But okay, so what you're telling me is that he had like a group of men, I'm guessing. You said with various
It's a misuse of position, basically.
yeah, but I'm just trying to just to summarize the case. He has like a group and then they fly all over the world and do parties.
Yes, they would sometimes inform him that it's gonna be a photo shoot in Marrakesh or someplace else, and you find yourself in the middle of a free call. That's quite crazy. Imagine you tell your girlfriend, "Hey man, I have a show. I have to take a couple of pictures for Abercrombie and Fitch." You tell your girlfriend, "I'm gonna see you a couple of days. I'm gonna fly out to Marrakesh." You arrive there, and then you're not allowed to leave. In the middle, you see a freak off going on. You'll think, "Oh man, I'm not gonna partake." Yo, they would press these guys to partake.
Yeah.
And that's the aspect of this. Yeah, people were getting pressed. They would pay them afterwards. This is the crazy part. You would be pressed, and then they would pay him.
But I guess I don't understand. So how would they fly them in and they don't know it? So how does that happen, that part?
They would tell them, because these are models, right? They would tell them, there is a picture. You gotta, let's say, fly to LA to take pictures for this campaign.
Gotcha.
It's a gotcha. It's a literally gotcha moment.
Yeah,
You arrive there, you get to the hotel, you get your room, and then find yourself in a situation where you cannot. I'm not gonna say anyway. Let's dive a bit deeper, because this freak off shit is getting crazier. Fair use. Hey, shout out to our homie. Not direct homie, but we have used his videos before. Ian Carroll. He has he always has quite good angles, interesting angles on this story. We talked about the Michael Jackson story last time around. RJ was shocked about all these links. Ian is always good at building these links. And stay tuned. You will be shocked probably again, RJ. Fair use.
Just got busted. And this time it is Abercrombie and Fitch. And it only takes like 3 minutes on Wikipedia to realize that this is connected directly to Jeffrey Epstein. Hence the Epstein Network shirt. So the former Abercrombie CEO, Mike Jeffries, was just charged with sex trafficking and interstate prostitution. And the article is basically just all summarize what is described in this 10-page indictment that was just filed. It names 3 co-conspirators: Jeffries, the ex-CEO of Abercrombie, his gay lover, who I think is his husband or partner for a long time, and then one other man that was like their senior manager of this trafficking operation. And real quick, a funny tidbit, that third guy, whose name is James T. Jacobson, I assume it's Todd, he's also known as Jim Jake or Mrs. Cook or Todd. I wonder why they're calling him Mrs. Cook, giving shades of Diddy right now. But anyways, basically, it's an international sex trafficking and prostitution business where they were using the modeling arm of Abercrombie and Fitch to trick young men into basically saying, we'll give you a job if you do a little diddling. And then they would fly the good ones out to sex events all around the world. And they would say that could yield modeling opportunities with Abercrombie or otherwise benefit their careers. They also threatened that if you didn't comply and go to these sex events, then you wouldn't get modeling opportunities and it would harm your career and you would be blacklisted from the industry, more or less. So it alleges that they would have a private tryout with Jeffries or these other higher up older men. And if they were good enough, then they would get the modeling job and they would be given an itinerary for what was actually a sex event, but the itinerary appeared as though it was just a regular photo shoot trip that they would fly somewhere and do a photo shoot. And so they were being tricked into like, oh, you did that one thing, and now you're all clear. You got the job. Fly over to that other country. You're going to take lots of photos. It's going to be great. Surprise, you are now at a freak-off. They required the men to sign non-disclosure agreements, and they alleged they intentionally recruited heterosexual men, certain of whom were unwilling to engage in particular acts, and then they coerced, forced, trapped them in until they complied with certain things, as in they literally had staff that ensured that men attending did not leave the events until Jeffries and Smith decided they were over. And there's all kinds of other things, like how they injected their dicks to make them be able to participate if they were not otherwise capable. There's lots of other details about how this went down. Don't need to go into all of it. It's worth noting that it appears, my read of what's in this indictment makes it seem as though this is based upon the testimony of, I think, 12 witnesses who were men that were victims of this scheme that have come forward. And so what is in this indictment is limited to what they saw and experienced. This indictment does not necessarily allege that they were like selling the services to other people or like actually like trafficking in a broader sense, but I suspect they were. It's kind of ambiguous in the language used in here. It kind of frames this as though this was all for Jeffries' pleasure, but it kind of also implies that this was not all just for him. But anyways, the Jeffrey Epstein connection. I put all these notes directly in.
So far, RJ, understand the case?
Yeah, I understand the case. Understand the case. It is what you said. Models being flown out. They weren't allowed to leave, and they're basically how can they inject something that's supposed to be hidden?